The smell of grilled burgers filled the air as I stood by the grill, flipping patties and chatting with the neighbors. It was one of those perfect Saturday afternoons where everyone in the neighborhood seemed to migrate to our backyard for an impromptu barbecue. The beer was cold, the conversation was flowing, and for once, I was actually enjoying myself. My wife was holding court near the patio table, gesturing dramatically with her third glass of wine. She always got more animated after a few drinks, and today was no exception. I could hear her voice carrying over the crowd, but I wasn't really paying attention until I heard my name. Seriously though, who wants to trade husbands? Mine comes with low maintenance and absolutely no ambition whatsoever. The conversation around the grill stopped. Every head turned to us. The silence felt like forever. I could see some of the guys looking down at their beers, embarrassed for me. Then Linda, our recently divorced neighbor from 2 houses down, stepped forward with a smile. You know what? I'll take him. My wife's laugh caught in her throat. The smug expression on her face started to waver as Linda continued. When should I pick him up? The silence that followed was deafening. My wife looked confused, then shocked, then panicked. She clearly hadn't expected anyone to actually answer her joke. I set down my spatula and walked over. Every conversation in the yard had stopped. All eyes were on us. Double quotes. Well, honey, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, I really appreciate you doing the marketing for me. Should I start packing now, or do you want to help me load the truck? My wife's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. The color drained from her face as the reality of what she'd said hit her. It was just a joke, she stammered. Was it? I asked, crossing my arms. Because Linda here seems pretty serious. And honestly, after that glowing recommendation you just gave me, I'm starting to think she might be getting a pretty good deal. Linda stepped closer, clearly enjoying the show. I mean, low maintenance sounds perfect to me, and ambition is overrated anyway. I prefer a man who knows how to enjoy life. Neighbors tried not to stare, but they failed. Wives whispered to each other. A couple of the guys smirked. My wife tried to laugh it off. Come on, everyone knows I was kidding around, do they? I asked. Because from where I'm standing, it sounded like you were trying to get rid of me. Now that someone's actually interested, you seem pretty upset. She grabbed my arm hard enough to leave marks. Can we talk privately? I gently pulled my arm free. Why? You didn't seem to mind discussing my shortcomings in front of everyone a minute ago. What's changed? Linda, arms crossed, watched with amusement. The offer still stands, she said sweetly. I'm not going anywhere. My wife shot her a look that could have melted steel. This is between me and my husband. Actually, I said, you made it everyone's business when you decided to auction me off at a neighborhood barbecue. Linda has as much right to be part of this conversation as anyone here. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. My wife scanned the yard, trying to regain control, but the damage was done. She'd humiliated me, and everyone was watching her scramble. Fine, she said through gritted teeth. We'll discuss this at home, because it seems like you've already made your position pretty clear, I said. Low maintenance, no ambition. That was your professional assessment of your husband, delivered to a crowd. So what exactly is left to discuss? She was desperate now. You're being ridiculous. You know I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it then? I asked. Please enlighten us. Because I'm pretty sure everyone heard the same thing I did. Linda chimed in. I heard a woman who doesn't appreciate what she has. And frankly, that's her loss. My wife snapped. Nobody asked you. Actually, I replied, you literally asked everyone. You asked who wanted to trade husbands. Linda answered. Now you're mad because someone actually took you up on your offer. The party had stopped. People watched the drama like a soap opera. I was enjoying every second of it. My wife realized she was losing this battle. We're going inside now, she said. Are we? I asked, because I'm actually having a pretty good time out here. The company is better than I expected, Linda smiled. Much better company. My wife's face turned red, not from the wine. She was furious and humiliated. For the first time in years, I didn't care. Choose, she said, voice low and dangerous. Them or me. I looked around at the neighbors, then at Linda, then at my wife. the woman who had just tried to publicly humiliate me. That's an interesting ultimatum, I said. Especially coming from someone who just spent the last 5 minutes explaining why I'm not worth keeping. She'd pushed too far. After the last neighbor left, we cleaned up in silence. I stacked chairs and gathered empty bottles without looking at her. Let her stew in it. As soon as we walked inside, she exploded. What the hell was that back there? I hung up my keys and turned to face her. That was you learning what happens when you try to humiliate your husband in public. It was a joke. Was it funny? She demanded. Was it funny? I echoed. No, except Linda seemed to find it hilarious. She accused Linda of trying to cause problems. Problems? I laughed. Linda was the only honest person there. You offered to trade me like a used car, and she said she'd take me? What's the problem with that? The problem is, you played along with it, she said. You embarrassed me in front of our neighbors? I let that sink in. You want to know what's really embarrassing? Living with someone for 8 years who thinks so little of me that she'd make jokes about trading me away. Watching my wife drink too much and turn me into entertainment. I was just being social, she said. No, I said, my voice getting harder. You were being cruel. And the only reason you're upset now is because it backfired. You expected me to stand there and take it, maybe laugh along, play the bumbling husband. Her silence told me everything. Someone actually wanting what you were so eager to get rid of. And now you panic because you might actually lose it. You're my husband. Am I? She snapped. Because 5 minutes ago you were trying to give me away. She paced, hands shaking. You can't be serious about this. Linda's a desperate divorced woman. What are you? The question hung in the air. She stopped and stared. Ots that's supposed to mean? It means maybe you should look in the mirror before throwing stones. You think Linda's desperate? You're married to a man you apparently have no respect for. You're the one who stays with someone you think has no ambition. What does that make you? Her face went pale. That's different. How? Because we're married? We have a life together. I scoffed. Do we? We have a house and shared bills, but a life. A real partnership? I'm not seeing it. I walked to the refrigerator and grabbed a beer. You want to know what I realized today? I've been making excuses for you for years. Telling myself you were just having a bad day, stressed about work, too much to drink. I don't know what you're talking about, she said. Of course she didn't. You've been disrespecting me so long you think it's normal. The little comments, the eye rolls, the way you dismiss everything I say. I thought that was marriage. I took a long drink and looked at her. Watching Linda's reaction made me realize something. A woman who actually appreciates a man doesn't try to trade him away at a barbecue. So what? You're going to run off with the divorced neighbor? No, I'm going to stop accepting disrespect. The days of you treating me like a burden are over. You don't get to make jokes about my ambition or my worth in front of other people. If I don't agree to your terms, ... I set down my beer and looked her straight in the eye. Then Linda's offer is still on the table. Color drained from her face. You wouldn't try me. We stared for what felt like forever. She'd pushed too far, and for the first time, I wasn't backing down. The next morning, I woke to the smell of bacon and eggs. My wife stood at the stove in her best apron, hair done, makeup perfect. Good morning, honey, she said in a saccharine voice. I made your favorite breakfast. I poured coffee and sat down. What's the occasion? Can a wife make breakfast for her husband? This wife can. Her smile faltered. I thought we could talk about yesterday. Clear the air. The air seems pretty clear to me. Ow. She tried to apologize. Maybe I had a little too much wine. Maybe I said things I didn't mean. Kay, I said. Maybe. But last night was just the first time you said it out loud in front of witnesses. The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw Linda on the porch holding a coffee mug. My wife tensed. Don't answer it. I opened the door. Morning, Linda. Sorry to bother you, but I ran out of sugar. Of course, she said, and came in. My wife's smile looked like a guard dog. Oh, Linda, how unexpected. Not at all, I said. Would you like some coffee? Linda waved a hand dismissively when my wife tried to explain yesterday away. There was no misunderstanding on my part. I meant every word I said. My wife's coffee mug hit the counter. "That's not happening," she spat. "Why not?" Linda asked innocently. "Yesterday you made it sound like he was more trouble than he was worth. Low maintenance and no ambition were your exact words." "That was a joke," my wife said weakly. "Was it?" I asked. "Drunk you and sober you seem to have the same opinion about my lack of ambition." My wife fumbled for a response. "I never said that in front of 20 people. You literally did," I said quietly. Linda leaned in, curious. "Can I ask you something?" she said to my wife. "What?" "What exactly do you contribute to this household?" My wife's mouth fell open. "Excuse me?" "It's a simple question," Linda said. "You're criticizing your husband for not being ambitious enough. So what do you bring to the table?" My wife said, "I'm his wife. It's not a contribution. That's a title." There was a long silence. I answered for her. "How long have you been between jobs?" "A few months," she said weakly. "Try 18 months, I said. 18 months. Linda raised an eyebrow. The truth landed hard. My wife had nothing to counter the criticisms she leveled at me. I walked to the window and watched neighbors go about their Sunday. Inside, my marriage was falling apart, and I felt okay with that. "You know what I realized last night?" I said without turning. "I've been apologizing for who I am for years, making excuses that I'm not rich enough or successful enough for you. That's not true." I turned to face them. "How many times have you told me I should ask for a promotion? How many times have you suggested I look for a better job? How many times have you made it clear what I do isn't good enough?" She had no answer. "But here's the thing," I continued. "I like my job. I'm good at it. It pays well enough. Most importantly, it gives me time to enjoy my life instead of chasing some impossible standard of success." Linda smiled. "Sounds perfect to me." My wife shot her a look. "Nobody asked you." "Actually," I said, "you did yesterday in front of everyone. And my answer hasn't changed. When do you want me? When should I be picked up?" The question hung like smoke. My wife's face cycled through several emotions before settling on rage. "Get out," she said to Linda. "Get out of my house now." "You mean your house?" Linda asked. "Funny, I thought it belonged to both of you. Though given you've been unemployed for 18 months, I'm guessing his name is the only one on the mortgage." The truth stung. The house was in my name only. We'd bought it before marriage, and I never added her to the deed. "That's it," my wife screamed. "Get her out." "Why?" I asked calmly. "She came over to borrow sugar. Don't play games with me." "Not playing games." "I'm wondering why you're so upset about a simple conversation." Linda smoothed her dress. "Maybe I should go. I'm making someone uncomfortable." "No," I said. "Stay as long as you like." My wife whirled on me. "Are you out of your mind?" "Actually, I think I'm finally thinking clearly for the first time in years," I said. "She's trying to steal you from me." "How can she steal something you don't want?" She cried. "You didn't have to say it. You demonstrated it in front of half the neighborhood." Linda settled back and took a sip of coffee. "This is better than cable TV," she said. My wife lashed out. I called her on it. "That's no way to talk to a guest." "Guest?" she hissed. "She's a home wrecker." "What home?" I laughed. "The one where you complain about me to anyone who will listen? The one where you've been unemployed for over a year while criticizing my work ethic?" She sputtered. "We can work through this. We can go to counseling, can we? Because yesterday you made it pretty clear I'm not worth the effort." I looked at her. I was drunk and now I'm sober and still trying to tell me what to do. Linda interrupted. "Do you even like your husband?" she asked bluntly. "You mean like him as a person? Do you enjoy his company? Do you look forward to him coming home? Do you laugh at his jokes?" My wife opened her mouth to answer, then closed it. Silence answered for her. Linda had only had 3 conversations with me, but already she could see things clearly. Yes, Linda said. "You don't know him like I do. Maybe that's the problem," she added gently. "Maybe you've forgotten to see the good things because you're so focused on what's wrong." I rinsed my cup and stood up. "I think this conversation has run its course." "Good," my wife said. "Linda can leave and we can get back to normal." "That's not what I meant," I said. I'm done pretending this marriage is working. I'm done accepting criticism from someone who brings nothing to the table. I'm done being treated like a consolation prize. Linda finished her coffee and stood. Well, this has been enlightening. Thank you for the coffee and the entertainment. Poured out your sugar, I said, handing it to her. You're very kind. After she left, my wife stood in the hallway, tears streaming. How could you do this to me? Humiliate me? Flirt with another woman? I laughed, but there was no humor. What marriage? You mean the arrangement where I work and pay bills while you complain about everything I do? We took vows for better or worse, and I asked which of those she had been keeping lately. She had no answer. I grabbed my keys. I'm going out, I said. Don't leave, she pleaded. No, we've talked enough. Now, I need to think. I drove for 2 hours and came back. My wife waited in the living room with red eyes and a notebook. I wrote down all the things I appreciate about you, she said, holding it like an offering. I sat across from her. Let me guess. Good provider, faithful, reliable. How did you know? She asked. Because those are things you appreciate about what I do, not who I am. She read the list. You work hard. You pay the bills. You're dependable. You never cheat. You help around the house? Stop, I said. Do you hear yourself? Everything on that list is about functions, not about me as a person. I don't understand the difference, she whispered. I know you don't. That's the problem. Tell me what you want me to say, she begged. I don't want words. I've heard them. I want action. Pack your things. Color drained from her face. What? You can't be serious? You heard me? Pack your things and leave. This is my home. No, it's my home. Your name isn't on the deed. And since you don't work, you don't contribute to the mortgage. She started to cry harder now. Please, I'll change. I'll get a job. Get a job for you, not for me, I said. You have until tomorrow morning to pack. After that, change the locks. This is all her fault, she said, pointing at Linda. She put these ideas in your head. I turned. Linda didn't put anything in my head. She pointed out what was already there. The difference is, she sees value in what you've been throwing away. I went upstairs and pulled out suitcases. When I carried them down, my wife broke down. Where am I supposed to go? Your sister's, your mother's, a hotel? I don't care. I don't have any money. Maybe you should have thought about that before criticizing the person who pays for everything. She begged, what if I promise to change? What if I prove I can be better? I'm not interested in promises anymore. I'm interested in my peace of mind. Started packing her things. She followed, grabbing clothes from my hands. Stop. You can't do this. Watch me. It took 20 minutes to pack everything that belonged to her. When I brought the last suitcase down, she stood there sobbing. You'll regret this, she said. The only thing I regret is waiting this long, I replied. Linda walked up her driveway, saw the suitcases, and understood. Need any help? She called. My wife shot her a look of pure hatred. This is all your fault. No, I said firmly. This is your fault. Linda had the courage to say what everyone else was thinking. My wife stormed out to her car with a suitcase. You'll regret this, she yelled as she pulled away. After she drove off, Linda came to the door. You okay? Better than I've been in years, I said. That took guts. No, it took self-respect, I replied. I just forgot I had any for a while. She smiled. If you need anything, you know where to find me. 3 weeks later, I was grilling burgers in the backyard again. This time, Linda helped prepare the salad. The atmosphere was different. No tension. No walking on eggshells. Just two people enjoying each other's company. How's the neighborhood gossip mill treating you? She asked, tossing the salad. Mixed reviews, I laughed. Half the wives think I'm a hero. The other half think I'm a villain. The husbands. Let's just say I've gotten a lot of knowing nods and requests for advice. My ex-wife came by twice in 3 weeks. The first time, she picked up more of her things. The second time, she begged me to reconsider. There isn't going to be a next marriage, I told her. Because deep down, You still think I'm not good enough? You're not here because you miss me. You're here because you're scared of being alone, she pleaded. Prove it. Name one thing about me that you genuinely love that has nothing to do with what I provide. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Silence answered again. Take care of yourself, I said, and started to close the door. The neighbors all hate me now, she whispered. That's not my problem, I said. Maybe you should ask yourself why. Her car pulled away. Linda came to the kitchen doorway. You okay? Perfect, I said, and lied. It couldn't have been easy. It was easier than I expected. I'm finally done feeling guilty for wanting to be happy. She wrapped her arms around me. Good, because you deserve to be happy. The first time in years, I was with someone who actually wanted me around. We finished dinner together. As we worked side by side, I realized what a real partnership felt like. Mutual respect, shared responsibility, genuine affection. You know what's funny? Linda said, finishing the salad. What? She gift-trapped a perfect man and handed him to me. All I had to do was say yes. I laughed. Maybe we both should thank her. Later, as the sun set, Linda got a text. Who's that? I asked. My ex-husband, she said. He'd heard about us through the grapevine. He said, heard you upgraded. Good for you. Upgraded, I repeated. From a man who took you for granted to one who appreciates you? Yeah, I'd call that an upgrade. I pulled her closer. The best part? I don't have to pretend to be grateful for basic human decency anymore. And you don't have to apologize for being exactly who you are. As the sun sank behind the trees, I realized sometimes the best things in life come from the worst situations. My ex-wife's cruelty had freed me to find something real. Linda had definitely upgraded. So had I. If you made it this far, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos I think you'll enjoy. Click on them and I'll see you in the next story. See you soon.